Alright guys, welcome back to Domo 16. I am your host Javon, and today we have a brand new video. Today we're back with another benchmark suite. Today we'll be testing up the Ryzen 3 2200G with the Vega integrated graphics. We're running with 32GB of DDR4 RAM in dual channel memory at 2400 MHz. The whole goal of this video is, can we run main titles with this setup? I tried it with the i3 and the Intel UHD 632. Painful results. I still have nightmares about that, and that was only a day ago. But we'll see here. Is Vega better? I don't know. We're about to find out. Like I said, this is going to be a short intro this time around. I hope you guys enjoy this. Don't forget to please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and stick around for more epic content. I see you guys really like this, so we'll be playing everything at 720p on the lowest preset with FSR. And for everyone, obviously. Let's get into it. First up, we have The Witcher 3 Next Gen update on the set. At 720p low, we were getting an average of over 30 FPS. We were noticing a lot of stuttering though in the game world as I started running around. I had just launched the game though, so that could have been the reason for it with this one. A 1% low of 6 is a bit weird for this here, considering we do have that 2 gigs of VRAM with the Vega 8, which it is using, by the way, utilizing all of it. I have the Ryzen 3 clock to 3.9 GHz. It's at its maximum boost clock. It will stay there the entire time. And yeah, this will still, even though it did stutter, this still will be a smooth 30 FPS experience for the most part. I'd say that's pretty impressive. But The Witcher 3 is an old game. That just got a next gen update. I just wanted to start off with something, you know, slightly not as much as demanding as the others, because it's gonna get rough in here. Let's move on. I still can't find a reason why I try Forspoken with these types of videos. Can someone help me, please? Has 720p low, FSR set to ultra performance. Well, to be honest, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Once again, with ultra performance FSR, you can't see a damn thing on the screen. I actually got a bit better. It was a bit better performance than I expected it to be, but it's Forspoken. What are we doing here? Don't tell me you came here to play Forspoken. Forspoken is not for integrated graphics, dude. This game sucks, man, in terms of optimization. And once again, it's targeted as, it's a very high-end game, so who am I to say otherwise? But still, it still annoys me. Moving on. The Callisto Protocol is another one, man, that ran, you know, somewhat decently on the Vega 8. The Vega 8 is quite powerful when I compare it to UHD graphics, man. At 720p low, if FSR set to ultra performance, we were getting over 30 FPS on average once again. This actually looked like a pretty good experience that you could play if you only had a Ryzen 3 2200G and you had the Vega 8. This wouldn't be the worst experience out there. Once again, that 2 gigabytes of VRAM is huge as well for the game because we don't use as much RAM, but we have 32, so we were fine anyway. But for what it is, 37 FPS on average is pretty awesome for the Callisto Protocol. This is not a very hard game to run as it is, but with UHD graphics, it struggles. Vega, it doesn't as much. Ratchet and Clank was another heavy one I didn't expect to run very well, and shockingly, it didn't. At 720p low, FSR set to ultra performance once again. We weren't hitting the 30 FPS mark. Once again, this is one of the most demanding areas of the game, though. As we go into the game, we do hit over 30 FPS. This is, I wouldn't necessarily consider this not playable. If you've always played on low end computers before, this is not unplayable. Trust me, I know what unplayable looks like. This ain't it for a low end gamer. This is very doable. Now, compared to Intel UHD graphics and HD graphics, which I couldn't even get the damn game to launch on, this is a big win. We're using 15.2 gigabytes of RAM though, so basically you need 16 gigabytes of RAM to even attempt this. Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered is next up on the list, and well, also was surprised here as well. It has the Intel UHD issues, but at 720p low with FSR set to ultra performance, the game was playing at over 30 FPS. It doesn't have the Intel HD graphics problem to the extent that the HD graphics does have, because there's a lot of flickering there, but there's a lot of, as you can see, popping of some universal shadowy thing. I don't even know what to call that damn thing, but it is there, and it does make it not as playable. When you get really high up in the air, the frame rate, and you can see a lot of the city, the frame rate does dip down, but for the most part, I was getting over 30 FPS on average. I mean, that's a win for Vega graphics, dude. These are integrated graphics, playing Spider-Man.
Hello? Parker, where are you? We must run through the demonstration at least once before the grant committee arrives.
Yes. Sorry. Yes. Dealing with a personal issue. I'll be in soon. Promise. Better wrap this up quick and get to my real job.
Next up, we have Atomic Heart, which ran surprisingly well, but looked like complete trash in the process as well. A 720p low with FSR set to ultra performance once again. The average was over 60. It was crazy. The performance was really good with Atomic Heart, but yeah, the ultra performance really scales down the image, man. It looks, the trees and everything, it looks awful up in here. But hey, it is playable. And this is a big open area. There's a lot going on right now. Look at this, like to the point that I'm at a CPU bottleneck. I'm not even a GPU bottleneck at this point. So I thought this was playable. Assassin's Creed Mirage also ran really well on here, considering what this game is, the latest Assassin's Creed game in the franchise. At 720p low with FSR set to ultra performance, the frame rates were once again over 30 FPS. A smooth 30 FPS experience would be fine if you cap this to 30. Otherwise, the frame times were a bit much, but once again, there's a lot of NPCs going around, and this is only a 4-core, 4-thread CPU. So you'll run into issues in terms of CPU power as well. But hey, 10 gigabytes of RAM and 2 gigabytes of VRAM, hope and a dream. You were getting over 30 even in this busy area. This game is extremely playable. So clearly in the video so far, the Vega has run these games so much better. It's so much less pain, I must say. So once again, with Lies of P at 720p low with FSR set to ultra performance, over 70 FPS on average. Holy crap! A lot of these games are actually playable, which is very surprising to me. The Vega 8 is such a step up from the UHD 630, man. It is insane. You can play so many titles with this little CPU. Just a CPU. And if you just wanted to buy a CPU and wait for a GPU for a while, this might actually not be the worst thing, especially at 30 FPS. This would be completely fine. Resident Evil 4 Remake showed me the same thing, really, except for that stutter right there, which was a terrible stutter. But at 720p low, once again set to FSR as ultra performance, I'm seeing a common theme here. Are you? The game ran at over 30 FPS on average. We're around 37 FPS on average, which is pretty good for Resident Evil, although I have noticed a lot of the stutters in the game. Like, you can see that stutter every once in a while. My 1% loads are 2 FPS. Not the best thing in the world, but once again, this game is playable with some FSR. The Ryzen 3 can handle this. It's quite nice. And for the final video on the benchmark suite, we have Final Fantasy VII Remake at 720p low. I don't know, just 720p low, and well, it runs at 30. It was hitting 30 in certain areas, but once again, this is without using the low-end mod, so it does struggle with just trying to play it natively like this. We were getting 30 FPS once we headed inside, but I imagine when we go outside, it's probably going to get a bit demanding. So overall, what do I think of the Vega 8 trying to run modern games? It does a pretty good job, I must say, all things considered. Even to today's standard, for some of the latest games, you can still play them on the Vega 8. There was a few that I missed out, but, you know, because Hogwarts Legacy kept crashing on me. And The Last of Us, I wasn't waiting on the damn Last of Us, I'll tell you that right now. But other than that, I even forgot Horizon Forbidden West, which also does run around 25 FPS on average. But yeah, this seemed to be a good experience, everything around. I would say if you just needed a budget CPU, it seems like 40 bucks, and you had a motherboard like this already, you're golden for a while just to hold yourself out. At 30 FPS capped, a lot of these games are extremely playable. But once again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.